From the beginning of Sefer Vayikra until the second parsha of this week, we really have had a little bit of a lack of inspiration. On a practical level, korbanos sacrifices during the times of the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash, practically speaking, we don't bring korbanos. We daven about them, but we don't bring korbanos nowadays. The Kehuna, the priesthood, all of the details about the Kohanim and how they brought the korbanos in the Mishkan and Beis HaMikdash, for us, again, something that's really not so connected to us. The laws of Tumah and Tara, the laws of purity and impurity, people becoming contaminated and how they purify themselves, again, technically speaking, we're all considered to be impure today. If the Beis HaMikdash was rebuilt, we'd all have to go through a purification process. So, practically speaking, that's difficult for us to connect to. Well, the laws of foods that we can eat and we can't eat, that I could connect to. We learned about that a few weeks back. The animals that we can consume, the animals that we can't consume. And then, in our parsha, in Parshas Acharei, we learn about the relationships that we're forbidden from having. That's practical. But to this point, in Sefer Vayikra, we've really been talking about keeping away from ourselves any impurity, making sure we keep far away any contamination or impurity. Now Parshas Kedoshim, the Torah introduces to us and says, now that you're clean, let's infuse within us the idea of Kedusha. Kedusha, holiness, well, if we talk about all the other things in Sefer Vayikra being impractical for us, in this world, we're to infuse holiness. What do we look like, angels? What does Kedusha really mean? The Torah commands us to be Kedoshim. Reb Nachum Mendel of Varka explains that this Kedusha the Torah is referring to is not for us to be like angels, it's not to be like malachim, because when we think of holiness, that's the first thing that comes to our minds. He says it's not to be like malachim, but it's to be holy at our own level. It's to understand our role as children of Hashem. It's to create goals for ourselves to aspire to. Not goals only for today and tomorrow, but goals for our entire lives. It's to understand how we represent Hashem in everything that we do. It's being able to find the commitment within our relationships, in the way we are children, in the way we are parents, in the way we are friends. And most importantly, it's about defining our roles as Balei Chesed, as kind people, as people who are there to help others, as B'nai Torah, as people who are there to learn Torah, to love Torah, and to bring Torah into our lives and our homes on a regular basis, and to make sure that we understand what we're doing in shul when we spend that precious time attempting to communicate and speak to God in our own way, to be able to understand and use the words of tefillah to gain inspiration and meaningfulness in our lives. Kedusha, holiness, is not reserved for the malachim. Kedusha is for all of us. It's our ability to connect and introduce meaning into the rituals that we keep and have been kept for generations before us. The rituals that have been handed to us, the life that we've been given by Hashem. And we say to Hashem, not only thank you, but we are going to use ourselves as vessels to ensure that the mission and the goal of His creating us was to be the best that we can be. Ultimately, to bring holiness back into this world which appears to be so void of any Kedusha. May we merit to heed this message and this idea, and to live lives in which we can have meaning and aspirations for Kedusha and for making Hashem proud of us each and every day. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.